everybody. I guess I need the microphone. Got all this fancy equipment and it's all behind me. Hey, everybody. Hope you're doing well. It's Friday morning, and we do this pretty much every morning or every Friday morning at 8:30-ish. We go live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook. Today, we're going to be talking about the accidental salesperson. And the accidental salesperson is one of these people maybe inside your company, or maybe it's you. I'm convinced that, when we're all growing up, I don't know that most of us really at 8 years old said, yeah, man, I want to be in sales. I want to be in sales. I love rejection so much. I can't wait. I want to be in it. Most of us don't. So in a way, we're all kind of accidental, not the 2% who knew, but most of us really didn't know what we wanted. And so we got out of college and we either went into frontline sales like I did, and many of you did, or you found a profession where you didn't have to sell: accounting, law, technical, project manager, things like that. And then all of a sudden, one day you wake up and they say, hey, you know what? We've got a quota for you, or you're going to have to go out and generate your own book of business or billing in the accounting and law world. And now all of a sudden, the thing that we didn't want to do, we have to do. And I think it's important to address that and say, are there people inside your company, if you're a VP of sales or CEO, who have the skills, the technical skills, but they just don't have the communication skills? And I wouldn't even call them sales skills. I just think it's human interaction skills. But it does get back to, do your people have the skills to generate interest, generate revenue, clients, et cetera? So today I want to talk about 5 things. We're going to be doing some more on this. In fact, I've got a video that I'm shooting that this is actually a practice round for, because I find there's thousands of companies who have this. So we're going to create a little 12-week offer that we will put in front of people, and it will be a way for us to come in and work with your team or a team for a period of 8 to 12 weeks, something simple, short, quick, intense, so that they can generate the skills that they need. So that's the ultimate plan here. So let's talk a minute about this whole idea of why is it important for your accidental people to be trained? The reason is because, number one reason is, I think that when I am looking for a product or a service and a salesperson calls me, I'm fairly open with them because that's what I do. I teach and train, and I'm with salespeople all day. If they're really good, I don't know that I need to talk to a technical person, but most of them aren't very good. Present company excluded. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about most companies. And so then if they say, look, why don't I get you in touch with a technical person or somebody who's on the project team or something, I'm relieved, because I think, oh my gosh, finally, I'm going to talk to somebody who actually knows how to do this stuff, not just talks a good game. So I think in your organization, if you have technical people, don't be afraid to put them in front of the prospect. Now, the problem is sometimes we are afraid because we've seen crash and burns when we bring a technical person with us into the sales process in some way, and they don't stop talking, they don't know when to ask, they drone on and on and on and on about the technical things. We don't want that. And I've always said that if you're going to bring a technical person out with you, if you're a sales professional, you have to govern that. You have to groom them up front. Say, look, here's what I'm looking for. Here's what I'm not looking for. If I look at you with a side eye, that means stop talking, or whatever those clues are. But a lot of times sales teams are afraid to bring the technical people because they just don't know what they're going to say. I can't have that. Your technical people are a huge asset. And I'm working with several engineering companies, construction companies who have technical experts. When they're trained on how to actually have these conversations, man, they are an asset that you want to use. And a lot of organizations now are skipping the whole sales thing, and they're booking calls online with a person who is more of a technical person, who can ask the right question, knows what questions to ask, shares information. So I'm not suggesting salespeople are going to be out of a job, but you've got to understand that if you can teach the technical people some of the sales skills, they're going to be very good at it, maybe even better than some salespeople. I know it's hard to believe, and you don't want to admit that, but I've just seen it happen. So, what are the main lessons? I've got 5 here I wanted to share with you. Number 1, you have to share with this accidental salesperson what selling actually is. Because most people have an old, antiquated definition of what selling is. It's about convincing somebody to do something they don't want to do, or it's about persuading them that you're the best in the world at something. No, that's not what selling is. Selling is creating the environment where a customer or potential customer can share with you the exact nature of their plight, of their dilemma, of their dreams, and of their goals. If you can't create the environment where they feel safe enough to do that, then they won't do that. And I think technical people can be really good at that because they shouldn't be there to sell. You're not there to convince. So if you have technical people and you're trying to turn them into salespeople, that's the worst thing you can do. Stop. It's ridiculous. So help them understand what selling actually is. Number 2, help them know why people buy. Why people buy not because you're great at what you do and you're great looking and you wear good cologne and all that. They don't buy for that. They don't buy because of your fonts on your PowerPoint, even though you spend a lot of time on that. They buy because they think that life might be just a little bit better with you than without you. That you can bring some relief to a problem they have. So there's 2 main reasons. Number 1, you've got to teach your accidentals, or this is what I would teach them, to understand that people buy to get out of or avoid pain. They're running away from something. They're avoiding something. Maybe, in my world, if a VP of sales calls me and he or she's pretty happy with their team, but they're closing at 18%, and that's unacceptable. They should be closing at 50%. And the pain is we spend a lot of time chasing people who never buy. Well, that's a problem. That's a huge problem. Yeah, it's only 18 to 50. That's a huge problem in terms of assets of a company. If your company is closing deals less than 20% of the time, in other words, 20% of what you propose, you got a problem. You've got a cost problem. Your CFO should be all over you about that cost problem. So one thing your people need to understand is people buy to avoid a problem, or they buy to seek an opportunity, to seek an objective, to live a better life, to make more money, to have more free time, to whatever that thing is. So your questioning and your positioning should be one of those 2 things, either understanding the dilemmas they have and the problems that those dilemmas cause, and all the way to, well, where are they trying to go? So those are 2 things. Number 3, I want you to master this 3-step system. And you've heard me talk about it. And is it a little bit more complex than what I'm going to give you? Yeah, of course it is. But I want you to know kind of the top line. And that is when you're selling, if you're an accidental and you're teaching your accidentals how to sell, there are 3 main steps to my philosophy that I have found works and all my clients love. Step number 1 is creating the environment. You've got to create the environment where your prospect is open and willing to tell you what their issues are. If you go in like every other amateur salesperson with, fired up and enthusiastic and eager, they're not going to tell you anything. They know that game. You think you're hiding the game? They know that game. It's a 6th sense prospects have. They totally understand it. And you can pretend like you hide it, but you don't hide it. So number 1 is create the environment. How do you do that? You just say, look, I'm not sure I can be of help to you. I'm not sure this is a perfect fit. So, and I know you're probably not either. So as we go today, let's ask each other some questions and decide if we want to proceed. Step 2 is you got to find the problem. You got to find the driving problem, the dilemma, the difficulty. Some call it the need, the pain, the whatever you want to call it. But it's not just, I'd like to find a way to improve my closing percentage. It's, if we don't improve our closing percentage, we're going to be out of business within a year. So I want deep dive into what the real issue is. And if your people are not willing to do that, most salespeople can't do that. They don't do that. They hear a buying signal and they're off to the races. Doesn't work. Doesn't work. It's why you close 15% of your deals. Amateurs, accidentals, don't do this. Understand the exact nature of the problem. You have an advantage because you know what the problems typically are. And the third area is economics. So we got creating the environment, understanding the dilemma, economics. What's the economic impact of them not solving this problem? Is there any? What if they decide to live with it for the rest of their life? Is that going to be really that harmful? Is it going to be financially impactful? If you can't find that out, and again, technical people are well positioned to do that. All right, number 4, I want you to leverage your natural advantage. Leverage your natural advantage when it comes to technical. So ask those questions. Ask the questions that you need the answers to if you're going to help them solve this problem that they just said they had. And it's what have you tried to do to fix it in the past? What kind of resources or assets have you thrown at it? What's been the experience of the CEO or the senior level leaders? What do they think about? I mean, all those questions you can ask. You're not interrogating them though. You're just using your natural advantage of wanting so badly to understand the exact nature of the problem. Hear what I said. You have to use your curiosity to satiate your appetite for understanding the exact nature of the problem. Number 5, transform fear into confidence. We all need more confidence. I haven't met anybody in 31 odd years I've been doing this who couldn't stand to have just a little more confidence in a certain area. Most of the time, the high achievers, the totally self-aware people are very clear about what that area is. The low achievers, the people who have no self-awareness, they have no idea. They will say, "Oh, I've got plenty of confidence," as they make 12.5 a year. So I think it's important that we transform that anxiety of that a lot of accidentals feel into confidence, into a belief that, oh no, I've got this because I have a strategy. I have a system. I'm not at the whims of whether I feel like doing something or not. I've got a very specific strategy. I would even suggest you have a beat sheet of some kind so that people know exactly what to ask, when to ask it. You can call it a script. I don't think it's a script in terms of reading the lines. I think it's just a cadence. It's an outline. It's a beat sheet. It's a checklist. And if you have that, they will follow it. And if they follow it, they're going to get better and they're going to have more confidence and they're going to put themselves in those situations that maybe right now they're a little reluctant to put themselves in. So I want to hear from you. I know that we don't have tons of people on these calls when we do them. And for some reason, LinkedIn has been very rude, be honest with you. You know, they came out a few years ago and said, oh, it's going to be all about live and it's going to be about live video. I've talked to a lot of people who do live videos, and LinkedIn, shame on you. You're not giving us any chance to spread our wisdom. What little wisdom you might think we have. I've talked to a lot of people who do live, and most people have stopped doing it. I don't understand LinkedIn. What are you doing? Why? I mean, forget about me. I don't need this. I don't need live. We'll chop this up and we'll do fine with it. But most people don't have the ability to chop it up, so they rely on live. You got to get better at it, LinkedIn. You're going to lose people. You already probably have. So anyway, that's an aside. I hope that has helped you think about the accidental salesperson, think about your approach. I've given you 5 things. Let me know in the direct message if you learned anything from this. If you want me to come in and talk to you about how we can bring this in, we're going to be creating a little, as I said earlier, an 8 to 12 week offer where we come in. We're not ready for that yet, but if you want to jump on a wait list, we can do that. All right. I'll see y'all later. Have a great weekend.